Hey, if you're rolling out your own modern push-to-talk platform or you already have one but you're looking for new hardware, I suggest the Siyata SD7. Not only does it work on all three major carriers in the United States, but it supports their push-to-talk platform plus Zello and many others. After looking at the hardware, looking at the software, would I recommend the SD7? And I would say yes. I consider it still a screenless radio, right? It has a tiny screen at the top, but there's no touch screen. There's no accidental presses. There's nothing for the user to interact with. You have a channel knob, you have volume, you have push to talk. And considering it supports a lot of different platforms, I would recommend it. That in Android 12. It's going to last a while. All three carriers in the US support it. They deploy it. They use it with their own systems. The Siyata folks are really open to supporting the third parties like Zello. So yeah, if you're looking for new hardware to go with your existing or a new push-to-talk platform, then it's a good choice. If you need help rolling out this system, let me know and I'll be happy to help. Hey guys, as some of you may know from the older videos where I converted a previous channel into this channel, I've been pretty big in network radios over the years, before a lot of the carriers actually started carrying their own network radios. And here recently, I brought some of that skill set into my new position where I work over at ITDRC, helping convert some of the day-to-day tasks that could be used over software radios or push-to-talk over cellular instead of maintaining a big repeater system. Plus, it's helpful to have some kind of backup plan. We still carry a lot of repeater gear. We still carry a lot of Motorola, UHF, VHF, things like that when we deploy. We carry public safety radios, so that way we could augment some of the supply if there's a disaster that takes down existing infrastructure. Software radios add to that. Granted, in some of those scenarios, we're bringing the connectivity with us where cellular or traditional landline internet may not be available. But if it's a contained building, a community center, a recovery center, things like that, where we've established Wi-Fi, software-defined radios, or push-to-talk over cellular or Wi-Fi, makes a great opportunity to provide two-way communications on site without the RF overhead, leaving some of that available RF technology, equipment, gear, repeaters, all those things available to public safety or areas outside that have to cover a large geographical area. And you can do Zello or whatever push-to-talk platform gateways, so you can have radio over IP, bridge those together, so your inside people that may be using the network radios can communicate with those outside who may be deployed in vehicles, maybe have handhelds, things like that, and they're over a larger geographical area. Or coast to coast, state to state, things like that. You've probably heard software radios, or network radios defined and sold from all carriers now. There's a lot of amateur radio ham folks that have been into this for a while, that have bridged Echolink and some of the other gateways and repeater systems. So it's been a while. It's been around for a while. It's just here recently it's become more mainstream. Verizon, T-Mo, AT&T, FirstNet, all the carriers have gotten on the bandwagon, and they've really helped try to push this in and make it a more viable option. Long gone are the Nextel days. Now everything is over some kind of data connection. So why am I talking about it again? Well, here recently we utilized a first responder account with Zello, and now Android 6 is getting phased out. They're losing a lot of clients. Some of the overseas branded radios, they may only be on older versions, older than 6 or older of Android. So that got me looking around. I had the opportunity recently to connect with the Siyata folks at a Baker to Vegas relay race, Baker, California to Vegas, Nevada, right? And we got to talking. Also met again with them and some of the additional carriers at a local event in DFW area. And hey, can I get some of these radios to try out? Now, I have had their vehicle kit, and I've had their handhelds that they provided for demoing, see if we wanted to purchase through the carrier. They do sell retail, but if you're going to get a lot of these devices, you probably should check with your local carrier, especially if you're on a business plan or first responder plan, because a lot of times these things can come pretty cheap, and then or free, depending on what kind of specials that they're offering. Whereas if you buy them online, you may end up being, paying for just straight up retail, and save some money while you can if you're going to be outfitting an entire fleet. Again, you'll have a monthly line subscription with that. I'll try to maybe throw in some background footage or video of the dock and things like that when I had them and I was talking about them, or some photos. I did realize I recorded with the microphone muted. So it's not any good. I sent them back. I ended up picking up my own off of online eBay refurbed, was able to get it to work, and I use it as my day-to-day. I went from an old Sonam Flip, and now I have the Siyata. So the SD7, I'm going to flip around and show you that. Depending on how you get it, you have a kit or you have a holster. But this is the SD7 accessory port, SOS, power, battery, clip. It does have a drop-in charger. I use USB-C, charges it up just fine. Function buttons, push-to-talk buttons, and then you have your screen and your rotary button. Now, like I said, depending on where you get it through, all the carriers have their own push-to-talk platform. Siyata has an MDM on here that will push whatever carrier push-to-talk platform you're subscribed to. If you buy it outright, you can open a ticket with their support, see if they'll hook you up and put the reactivate the device and put whatever flavor of your push-to-talk platform you want. If you're familiar with developer mode, you can go in through the About section on here, hardware version, 7 clicks, and you can enable developer mode, which will allow you to remote control the screen through software like Visor, and you can load your own APKs that way. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video, at least, unless there's a lot of requests later, just because it is a process that you have to be comfortable with Android and know what I just said to get it working. And if you do buy like secondhand, just realize that it could be an older version of Android itself. Now this one and the ones that I demoed are Android 12, so that was another reason why I kind of was stepping down off of, as we're phasing out some of the older equipment that we have deployed in our fleet, mainly because Android 4, Android 6, things like that, and getting support through AliExpress, Alibaba, all those things. It's kind of really hard to get them to get respond or get a current version of Android, or at least a newer enough. So as you're thinking about your existing push-to-talk fleet, if you have network radios, keep in mind your provider may be discontinuing support for the underlying operating system, the Android version, on there. So whether you're doing 4, 6 or 7, just keep in mind as these platforms kind of phase those out, you may be having to replace some equipment. So why? Yes, these brands here, they probably make newer devices. They've switched over to newer, and Ricoh themselves, they switched over to newer connectors instead of RJ45. It's Aviation. It is running a newer version of Android. I don't have to get rid of these right away. Those guys are running older versions. I like the screenless, no screen on the device for our field folks that only need really 1 or 2 channels. It auto logs in, and they only have to worry about volume and push, right? There's screen versions if you need a little bit more interaction. Maybe you want to monitor more than 1 channel at a time and change some scan features, things like that. You can't really do with this. But the screens are so small, even our mobiles, I usually program these just for 1 channel at most on any given operations or local talk around channels. So why would I do this, even though that some of these brands may have them? Well, they have a docking station. So I don't know if you've experienced this in your agency with just traditional RF. You've got your officer usually, or your fire command that have their portable radios on. They jump in their squad car or their apparatus, and they talk on their portable, and it also blasts over your headsets or the mobile that's in the vehicle. So you have this echoing and squelching, things like that. Happens with these two. This may be in a belt clip, and it's clipped onto your belt, or it's clipped onto your radio strap, or whatever you have,
and you're talking on it, then you get in your vehicle that has one of these guys in it, and you key up, and it's pretty sensitive microphones. They're digital, a little bit more amplification to it, so you end up with this audio loop. Now, I'll try to find a photo show it on the screen, but these guys have SD7s have a drop-in. So for all my older fire folks out there who may have had the minitor pagers back in the day, where you took your pager, you put it into the amplifier cradle, and you went to bed. And if you got a call, the tones dropped through the amplifier speaker, and it was a lot louder, woke you up. At the same time, it was charging your pager, right? Same concept. As soon as I saw it, that is immediately where my mind went. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get woken up in the middle of the night again. Tones are gonna go off, and I'm just gonna like bolt to the door, trying to grab my boots and hit the truck at the same time, right? So you take your radio out, you put it in your docking station, and it picks up, it transfers your radio. The docking station has its own noise canceling microphone. Actually, the noise canceling microphone may be an add-on, but it is available. It does have its own microphone. The stock one I do not believe is noise canceling on the mobile unit, but you put it in, now your radio is going through your mobile unit. You can key up with the mic, you can use the louder speaker, it's charging your device at the same time. You get where you're going, you hit the eject button, pops out, put it back in your belt clip or wherever you keep it, and you go about it. So if you want a radio, your portable turns into your mobile, and vice versa. So that's kind of why I like those for the cost. Yeah, otherwise it's a good device, it's loud. Now your sounds, notifications, SOS features, all that stuff is going to depend highly on the push-to-talk platform or service that you go with. So know your environment, know what options you have. The only thing for me that I wish that this had, and it's not necessarily it's a want feature, not a complaint, because I don't even know if the right APIs are in place for Zello to do it, but I missed my repeat button. I just wish there was an extra button or a special tap or something that you could do, or reassign a key. The docking station has some function buttons. Even that I would take. Like, I would love a replay of the last message. And you can do it through the app. You can go into the app. We leave message history on, so if you're using an Android or an iPhone proper with the screen, you can just replay the last message. So that's the only thing I would really love to see. Even, like I said, if I could remap some of these, like I do change channels up here. This is volume. I wouldn't want to mess with the push to talk key. We don't use SOS. I would remap SOS. Even if maybe the power button, you press and hold the power button to turn it on and off. So it's not just a one tap. So maybe a one tap is the repeat. Or, you got menu options up here and you can tap repeat. I would love to have a repeat option. So you guys, if you're watching, hook me up with a repeat option in your next update. That would be great. But yeah, so as far as size wise, if you've had any of these, it is kind of smaller. It's not too terribly smaller, but I love that it doesn't have a belt clip built on. So I've broke a lot of these and had to replace them. Chances are, if this breaks off, it just doesn't get one. Sorry. It'll go into some kind of sleeved holder, because trying to find this one part, or you end up 3D printing an option or something. And a lot of times the antennas are just for show. They don't actually hook into them. Some of the antennas are dummy. Some of them do. But now I don't have to worry about it. My other screenless device, it's got some girth on it. It's got a lot of weight. This is a lot lighter, but then, it's still got enough weight on it till it's a device. You don't feel like you're going to throw it across the room. And like I said, I don't have a mobile unit anymore to show you. I'll put some pictures up, but as far as a mobile option, it's great. Now, I will say, just to be completely transparent, their mobile option, it's the VK7. It's got a cutout here for the SD7, which is the radio, and it slides in. Now, when it slides in, it's kind of hollow inside, because they are using some type of metal and other things to act as like a heat disperser. So when you eject it and it comes sliding out, if you try to pull it out at any kind of angle, because it's got a lip, it'll actually catch these speakers, these grapes. So it almost feels like it gets stuck and you have to push it out. So if we're going to make any improvements on that mobile kit, I would love for it to slide out a lot easier. That would be great. I understand what they were trying to do just by looking in the hole. You can see the equipment, you can see the dock and everything. Big hollow space. They needed airflow. It's got to get hot, especially depending on where you mount it. I know here in Texas, 100 plus, it gets warm. I'd rather the radio work, obviously, and stay on. I need the communications. Just a minor improvement. And then some way of mapping the buttons, because there isn't one right now. And it's highly dependent on your push to talk platform, or if you get the radio in there, maybe you can remote screen control and try to do like a button mapper app or something like that. But otherwise, still like it. I still would replace currently my fleet radios with it and the mobile station. Love to see the mobile station come down in price or have some kind of package deal through the carrier. But other than that, if you're looking for a new push-to-talk network radio for your fleet, check them out.